Hello Greenstylers, Leah here. This is the sewing tutorial for the Greenstyle Sydney Bag. The sew along will contain instructions for both style of strap and both a pieced and solid main bottom gusset. Cut 1 B1 side panel in main. Cut 1 B2 upper external pocket, 1 B3 external pocket upper flap, and 1 B4 lower external pocket in main. Cut 2 B8 top side gussets. Cut 2 B9 top gussets. Cut 1 B10 main side gusset and cut 1 B11 main bottom gusset. Note, B11 is not a symmetrical piece and cannot be cut on the fold. Alternatively, you can cut 1 B11A and 1 B11B of a pieced main bottom gusset to conserve fabric. Cut 3 B1 side panels in lining. Cut 1 B5 upper lining external pocket and 1 B6 lower external pocket in lining. Cut 2 B9 top gussets in lining. Cut 1 B6 internal pocket on the fold in lining. Cut 1 B7 lining bottom gusset. Using a woven fusible interfacing such as SF101, Vilene G700, or Decaville, cut 1 F1 side panel, 1 F2 upper external pocket, 1 F3 upper external pocket upper flap, and F4 lower external pocket. Cut 2 F8 side top gussets, cut 2 F9 top gussets. Cut 1 F10 main side gusset and 1 F11 main bottom gusset. Additional supplies required include 2 number 5 zippers, 1.5 yards of 1.5 inch webbing, either a 3-bar slider or a 3-bar slider and rectangular ring. Optional pressure tape and lighter will be helpful. Iron the fusible interfacing onto the corresponding main pattern pieces. If using the optional pieced main bottom gusset, place B11A right side together with B11B along the midline and sew with a 3/8 inch seam allowance. Iron the corresponding fusible interfacing pieces on the main bottom and side bottom gusset. Fold the internal pocket B6 in half wrong sides together and press with an iron. Top stitch along the folded edge with a 1/8 inch seam allowance. Place the internal pocket on top of one of the side panels B1 in lining fabric, a line along the bottom curve. Sew the internal pocket to the side panel by top stitching down the center of the internal pocket. Be sure to reinforce at the top midline and optionally place a bar tacket or rivet at the top center of the internal pocket. Optionally, baste stitch around the bottom of the pocket with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. The pattern is drafted to be used with zipper tape that is 1 1/4 inch wide. For tape wider than 1 1/4 inch, the tape will need to extend past the edge of the pattern pieces accordingly. If your zipper tape is more narrow than 1 1/4, the pattern piece will need to overhang your zipper tape slightly. With the zipper or zipper tape placed right side up and the zipper pull on the left, place one of the interfaced main top gussets B9 right side down along the top of the zipper tape. For 1 1/4 inch wide zipper tape, sew with a 1/4 inch seam allowance 1/4 inch from the teeth. Repeat the process for the second main top gusset B9 aligning to the bottom of the zipper tape. Top gussets should align across the zipper tape. So 1/4 inch from the zipper teeth. At some point along the process, you will need to stop sewing, lift your presser foot, pull your zipper pull past the presser foot, and resume sewing. Turning the zipper tape right side down with the zipper pulled to the right, place the lining top gusset B9 right side against the wrong side of the zipper, aligning at the center notch and ends of the main top gusset. Repeat with the second lining top gusset. Sew on top of your existing stitch line 1/4 inch from the zipper teeth. Turn all gussets right side out with wrong sides together and press using an iron. Top stitch down the length of the top gusset on both sides using a 1/8 inch seam allowance, catching both the main and lining pieces. The small bag should be 4 3/4 inch from center notch to center notch across the zipper. The mid size should be 5 3/4 inch across. Trim off any excess created by differences in seam allowances and/or zipper tape width. Set the assembled top gusset aside. Using your second zipper, place the zipper right side up with the zipper pull to the left. Place the main interfaced lower external pocket B4 right side down along the bottom zipper tape. Sew with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, 1/4 inch from the zipper teeth. Turning the zipper upside down with the zipper pull to the right side, place the lining lower external pocket B4 right side down against the zipper tape. Align with the main lower external pockets along the side. Sew 1/4 inch from the zipper teeth on top of your existing stitch line. Fold the lower external pocket components right side together and press with an iron. Top stitch along the zipper with a 1/8 inch seam allowance. Place the interfaced external pocket upper flap B3 right side down along the top of the zipper tape with the zipper facing up. Align with the sewn lower external pocket. Sew 1/4 inch from the teeth. Flipping the zipper right side down with the zipper pull on the right side of the bag, place the upper lining external pocket B5 right side down against the wrong side of the zipper. Align with the external upper flap. Sew with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, 1/4 inch from the zipper teeth on top of your existing stitch line. Flip the external pocket upper flap right side up, but don't press or top stitch. Place the upper external pocket B2 right sides together with the flap. Sew with a 3/8 inch seam allowance. Turn the upper external pocket right side up so that the wrong sides of the external pocket and the upper flap are together. Press with an iron. Move the rest of the front assembled bag out of the way. Top stitch across the bottom of the upper external pocket with a 1/8 inch seam allowance. Place a lining side panel B1 behind the assembled external pocket, lining sides right side together. Trim off any overhang created by the differences in seam allowances and/or zipper tape width. All pieces should align. Pin around the perimeter, ensuring that the zipper pull is inside the perimeter of the bag. Baste stitch all 3 layers together with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. A note for the side bag construction: the lining and made side panels can be sewn on in 1 or 2 steps. For the sewing tutorial, I will first be sewing one side on individually, and the second side will be constructed simultaneously. With the assembled top gusset right side up and the zipper to the left, place the solid main side panel B1 right side together with the assembled top gusset, align at center notches, and work the curve of the side panel so it lays flush with the straight edge of the assembled top gusset. The side panel will be shorter than the length of the top gusset. Sew the main side panel to both the lining and main layers of the assembled top gusset. Sew with a 3/8 inch seam allowance, starting and stopping 3/8 inch from the edge of the side panel. Back stitch at the beginning and end to secure. Place the assembled lining side panel with the internal pocket right side together with the lining of the top gusset, sandwiching the assembled top gusset between the main and lining panels. Again, align at center notches and work the curve of the side panel along the straight edge of the top gusset. Both the main side panel and lining side panel should align. Sew with a 3/8 inch seam allowance, again starting and stopping 3/8 inch from the edge of the side panel. Back stitch at the beginning and end to secure. You will be sewing atop the existing stitch line. Repeat the process with the other side panels. Sew with a 3/8 inch seam allowance. Be sure you are catching all 4 layers as you sew along the curve. Take your time. With main and lining panels right sized together, press along your stitch line. Optionally, top stitch along the top of the main panels with a 1/8 inch seam allowance. Place the assembled bag lining side up with the main side panels folded out of the way. Place the lining bottom gusset B7 right side together with one of the lining side panels aligning at the center notch. The two notches near the short ends will align with the seam between the lining side panel and the lining top gusset. Pin the lining gusset around the curve of the assembled lining side panel. Do not pin to the main side panel. Leave the short ends of the bottom gusset free past the notches at the side. Starting at one of the notches at the side, sew the lining bottom gusset to the lining side panel with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Backstitch at the beginning and ends of each stitch line. Leave an unsewn section approximately 3 to 4 inches long at the bottom of the bag and stitch up to the opposite notch. Again, do not catch any of the constructed top gusset or main side panels in the stitch line. Fold the remaining lining side panel down to align with the lining bottom gusset. Again, align at center notches. Pin along the curve. Start sewing at the side notch and sew the entire length of the lining bottom gusset with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Do not leave a gap on this side. Again, don't catch either the main side panel or top gusset. Flatten the bag with the lining on top and main side pieces on the bottom. Pin the remaining unsewn portion of the lining bottom gusset to the short end of the top gusset. Using a 1/4 inch seam allowance, sew the remaining portion of the lining bottom gusset to the assembled top gusset. Ensure that the zipper pull is inside the bag. Repeat on the other end. Place the wider end of the interfaced top side gusset B8 right side together with the assembled top gusset. Sew with a 3/8 inch seam allowance. Backstitch at the beginning and end of your stitch line and reinforce across the zipper. And repeat with the other top gusset. Center the long strap of webbing to the top side gusset on the same side as the zipper pull when the bag is closed. Leave 1 inch of webbing to overhang the side gusset. Sew with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, backstitch to reinforce the stitch line. It is recommended to burn the short end of the webbing for fabrics that are prone to unraveling. Take a small piece of the webbing approximately 5 inches long. For the simple strap construction method, slide the webbing through the center bar of your 3-bar slide. For the secured strap option, feed the 5-inch strip of webbing through one side of the rectangular ring connector. Center the webbing with the slide or ring to the wide end of the interfaced main bottom gusset B11. Leave 1 inch of webbing to overhang the end of the gusset. Baste stitch with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Place the interfaced main side bottom gusset B10 on top of the webbing and slide right side together with the main bottom gusset. Sew with a 3/8 inch seam allowance, back stitch to secure the stitch line. Reinforce with a second stitch line using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Unfold the side bottom gusset and top stitch on the main bottom gusset side. Optionally, place rivets to secure the webbing to the main bottom gusset. Unzip the top gusset zipper at least halfway. The end of the main bottom gusset with the slider or rectangle ring must be opposite the top side gusset with the strap sewn on. Align the short ends of the main bottom gusset to the short ends of the side top gusset. As well as aligning the notch at the midpoint of your main bottom gusset to the notch at the bottom of your side panel. Pin along the curve of the side panel and along the top side gusset. Open the point where the top gusset meets the side panel slightly to ensure a smooth transition as you pin the main bottom gusset. Starting at the short end of the side top gusset, back stitch for security and use a 3/8 inch seam allowance to sew around the short ends and the entire length of the main bottom gusset. Stop at the opposite side top gusset. Work slowly, especially at the point where the top side gusset meets the side panel. You'll need to open that seam slightly in order for the gusset to align smoothly as you sew. Carefully backstitch to reinforce your stitching over the zipper. Flip the remaining main side panel down, aligning center notches with the main bottom gusset. Pin the remaining portion of the bottom gusset along the side panel curve, and both top side gussets. Sew around the remaining portion of the top side gusset and main side panel with a 3/8 inch seam allowance. Clip the corners of the top side gussets at a 45-degree angle, being sure not to cut into the stitch line. Repeat for both sides. To berth the bag and turn it right side out, reach your hand through the unsewn portion of the lining bottom gusset, through the zipper of the top gusset. Slowly and carefully pull the main bag through the zipper and through the unsewn section. Take your time working all portions of the bag through the unsewn section. Pull on the webbing to help pull the top side gusset through. It's highly recommended to use a tool such as the flat end of your scissors to push the corners out of the top side gusset. Once the bag has been turned, optionally place rivets at the strapping to secure to the top side and main bottom gussets. Using either a machine or hand stitch, close the unsewn gap in the lining of the bag. Reaching through the top of the bag, stitch in the ditch in a few locations to secure the lining to the main side of the bag. For the simple strap option, feed the long strap through the first slot in the 3-bar slider and down through the second slot. Trim strap to desired length and burn or finish the end of the strap as desired. For the secured strap option, again, feed the strap through the first slot, down through the second slot, then pull it through the lower rectangular ring, front to back. Trim the strap to the desired length. Secure the strap back on itself as demonstrated in step 35B of the instructions. And with that, your Sydney bag is done. We'd love to see your makes. Tag us on social media using the hashtag GSSydneybag. Happy sewing, friends!